Also, so many slurs.
Yeah, lots of slurs.
They really and I was like 2010. I thought we were tapering that off at then.
Shortly after, yeah, I think
Yeah, I think
2010
that was when
was
it started to shift a
a
little
shift
more
a lot, yeah.
to slurs aren't super funny. Like that's not the joke.
And now there's no comedies out there anymore.
No, there are no raunchy comedies out there.
That's what I said. There's no comedies anymore. I love the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. Damn! And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. How's it going?
It's going okay. How you doing?
I'm all right. Okay, so let's go over a few things. I don't know any of this. How do you think it did at the box office? I went and saw this, so it got a few bucks.
I think it did well. I don't think it was like a crazy blockbuster, but I think it did very well. And well enough, apparently, to warrant a sequel.
A sequel without John Cusak.
I mean, I kind of get it.
Yeah, and a bit of trivia here. He actually said yes to this movie based solely on the title alone.
Yeah, I saw that as soon as I started playing it because I have MGM Plus.
I gave you trivia?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of trivia. I happened to pause it right as the movie started, and that was the piece of trivia that was up. And I was like, oh, I get it. If I got a script that said Hot Tub Time Machine, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I didn't even need to see the trailer. If there was a movie that was called Hot Tub Time Machine, as I walked into the movie theater, I was going to watch it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right, well, let's take a look at the budget. Oh, wait. Let's find out the budget.
Yes, let's.
Hot Tub Time Machine, 2010 budget. 36 million. That's not bad.
I mean,
it's a little high.
It's a little high, but if you see the talent that they had they were paying.
Yeah. And I'm guessing John Cusak's not overly cheap.
He's not overly expensive at that point, but he wasn't overly cheap either. So yeah.
And there were a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah.
So many
in it.
All right, so let's share. To the box office we go. All right. So Hot Tub Time Machine, 64 million.
Yeah, that's a very decent showing.
Yeah, so it made some money. Yeah, it did make some money. Again, like you said, it wasn't
Titanic numbers. No. But
more than enough to
very respectable. Very, very respectable.
As we can see here, it premiered on March 26th, and it didn't hit number one. It hit 3, but it hit 3 for, let's go weekly. Well, let's see on opening. Yeah, the first weekend it opened at number 3, behind How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. Alice
in Wonderland.
Oh, that was the Tim Burton one?
Yeah, that was the first one. It was already still in the 4th week here. And Hot Tub Time Machine, The Bounty Hunter, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, She's Out of My League, Green Zone, Shutter Island, Repo Man, the remake, obviously, and Our Family Wedding. Yeah, so that's not bad. 14 million in 3rd place. That's not too bad.
No, it's a very respectable showing. Yeah. And they made, obviously, enough money off of it that they were like, we can make a sequel.
Yeah.
And it'll still I think they were counting on rentals and things like that to kind of keep through.
Yeah, this is. I also I owned this at one point back in the day, and then I lost it. And as you can see behind me here,
You
I
brought it back again.
I own it again. All right. So let's check out some of these taglines because they're not bad. Taglines for Hot Tub Time Machine, 2010. Oh, wait a minute. That's not it. That's an AI. It could be. Actually, that's not bad for AI. Here's the AI hot tub. These aren't the actual taglines, but this is what AI. This is why we're done. Get ready to rewind your life.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, the past is always better in a hot tub.
I mean, valid.
Time travel with a side of 80s nostalgia.
No, that one's not very good.
No, when the only way to fix your future is to go back in time.
I mean, it's pretty good.
A hot tub, a bad decision, and a whole lot of 1986.
Actually, that's really good.
That's actually good.
That's actually super good.
You don't need a marketing team. You need AI.
No, you still need a marketing team to be like, that's stupid AI. We're not putting that out.
Yeah, someone's got to weed out the silly ones. Yeah. So here are the actual taglines. Let's see if these are actually better. There's nothing here. Kick some past. That's it. That's all it. Kick some past.
Who the fuck worked on that?
Not AI.
Fuck no.
Oh, that was fucking horrible. All right. Let's take a look at. Oh, just for we didn't have a big turnout for The Shining when we asked to buy it, rent it, skip it, but it was unanimously buy it.
Yeah,
100%.
Valid.
Yeah, everyone that actually did take part of the poll, I forgot last week, they all said, yeah, they said buy it. It was, but for this one, it was buy classic time traveling comedy, rent above average comedy 80s style, stream for a few by numbers laughs, or skip unfunny 80s and 2000s comedy.
Okay.
All rolled into one. And the actual was 22% said buy it.
Okay.
And 78% said rent it.
Oh.
And that was it. No one said stream it. No one said skip it. So
so they were all, it was pretty much unanimous. You should pay some money for this.
This is worth paying money for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. We've never had like a unanimous pay for this.
Well, The Shining.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, that's like everybody says buy it.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But like people being divided about, like, yes, you should pay for it. But we disagree about whether or not you should keep it.
Yes. Now, what do you think? The reviews are going to be Rotten Tomatoes?
I think for Rotten Tomatoes, it's going to be kind of mid and meh.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be like, it's fine. Like in the 50s, 60s kind of realm.
Oh.
Is it higher?
No, you were right. But 64% out of 210 reviews. I'm kind of shocked
that it's so high.
This movie was very politically incorrect. This movie was very raunchy.
Yes.
So gross at some points.
Yes.
I did not expect 64.
Honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of like, I expected worse. And I think that's why the number went up.
Yeah. All right. I will go with the good. And this week you can go with the bad. All right. Let's take a look. Brian Eggert. The result is the kind of lazy comedy that demands a lazy audience. If you're feeling lazy, you could do worse. Yeah. That's what I was expecting. 2.5 out of 4. Brian Eggert Deep Focus review.
It should be difficult to make a 90-minute movie completely devoid of any redeemable qualities, but the filmmakers here might have succeeded. That's Mike Massey from Gone with the Twins. Original score, 3 out of 10.
Gross, silly, stupid. Yet this 80s time travel comedy is surprisingly funny. 3 out of 5. Stuart McGurk, NME New Musical Express.
Let's see. Oh, It might be a generational gap that turned me off, but I thought it was all quite ridiculous and the dialogue worse than coarse. Trust me, and not those in their 30s. It is not worth your time. That's Ed Koch from The Atlantic. He did not like this movie.
No. Hot Tub Time Machine is more than just a chance to poke fun at the decade of excess. There's actually a sweet-natured message about friendship buried deep within a film that isn't afraid to push its R rating as far as possible. Original score, B+, Michael Compton.
I like this one. If the filmmakers had thrown in some variety, it might have worked, because I'm sure they were going for more than just a feeling of indifference. That's Jeff Beck, Examiner.com. Original score, 2.5 out of 4.
An irreverent guilty pleasure, frat boy comedy. It blows a big fat raspberry at sci-fi fans and tells them to stick their flux capacitor where the sun don't shine. Anna Smith, metro.co.uk.
It's passably funny in spasms, but in the end, the outright vulgarity palls, and you wonder what the two leading ladies in the cast, Colette Wolfe and Lizzie Kaplan, thought of it all. Not much, I'd say. That's Derek Malcolm from the London Evening Standard. His score was 2 out of 5.
Savagely raunchy, completely ridiculous, and outrageously entertaining. Hot Tub Time Machine could be this year's The Hangover. 2013, a comedy strictly for grown-ups. Linda Cook, Quad City Times.
Let's see. Yeah, they really.
There's a lot here. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Reviews.
Oh, this one's a good one. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the best bit. Original score 2 out of 5 from Catherine Bray, Film 4.
Was Roger Ebert dead by now?
I think he
2010.
Are we looking for Ebert's?
That's what I'm looking for, yeah.
I really think he must not.
I think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was reviewing movies anymore.
I don't think he would have. Yeah.
No. All right. Well, okay. I'll end with, I wish the screenwriters had been 2010 minded enough to leave out the crappy gay jokes. Then again, as directed by Cusak's longtime pal and collaborator, Steve Pink, and performed with manic energy by this Guys Among Guys cast, the movie bops and honks. B. Lisa Schwartzbaum, Entertainment Weekly, top critic.
Okay, I'm going to throw this one in here because I like it. Finds a host of familiar faces performing below their best on a time warp trip. That's from Julian Shaw, Film Inc., Australia. And this was reviewed April 21st, 2010. So soon after it came out.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to IMDb. I'm guessing it's going to be around the same.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. 6.4 and 191,000 reviews.
Jeez.
That's high for a comedy.
Especially one that's so... this is not a universal comedy.
No, it's not like The Hangover or...
This is a little more niche.
Yeah.
This is very much we have a weird idea, and it's a weird comedy. We'll go with that.
All right, I'll start with the... Piss off, Honda. I'll start with the 10th star this week. Yeah, they're always gloriously hilarious. One of the funniest films I've ever seen. Legendary timeless cult classic, The Gaza 95.
Oh... This one's good. For being a 9 out of 10, for being such a crazy concept, this is way better than it should be. Kevin Robbins.
Yeah. Exactly what it's supposed to be. Aiden Diplonsky, 8 out of 10. Yeah, I will say that after watching this movie, it doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is.
Yeah. 100%. Nonsense and plot holes, but I like it. That's Nigel Leon? I don't know. Junsi, that was the 7 out of 10. Jesus.
For all its ridiculousness and assholeness, it's still fun and enjoyable. Napier Slugs, 6 out of 10.
Nice. The Hangover meets Back to the Future. Raunchy version. 5 out of 10. That's from 3XHCCH.
Boorishness, not my idea of comedy, but a few parts worked. It's okay. Richard S. Russell, 1, 4 out of 10.
Thanks. I hate it. 3 out of 10 from PJ Taylor, 96, 138044.
The last time I believe in IMDb rating. John Silver Largo, 2 out of 10.
Oh my God. Marketed as a comedy, but really, it's just a new genre of gross. Lisa Rainey, 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I get that too. Here is the. Oops. It was at the beginning, but there is the. I think
Poster?
that's the original movie poster, and we all know the DVD ones and the Blu-ray ones.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just being called Hot Tub Time Machine was enough. Like I said, it was.
It's a great title.
It is a great title,
It's a super great title.
It is rated R for a very good reason.
100%.
I forgot how R this. I have the unrated version. I watched the theatrical version because there was about 12 minutes added to the unrated version.
Yeah.
And I haven't. I wanted to. Sometimes when I watch the unrated or the director's cut, I will never watch the theatrical version again.
Understandable.
But I did notice on the Blu-ray, I have a 4K player, and the Blu-ray looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
When because I started watching the unrated first, it did look more DVD-ish. So I think the
quality went down
a little bit. But I'm going to watch. Now I have an excuse to watch the unrated version.
There you go.
Get my money's worth. All right. Okay, so let's watch our trailer watch, and then when we come back, we will further expand. So, before we go, next week is a 2010 movie, I believe. Is it from 2010? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, shit.
What do you remember about? I went to the theater and watched Hot Tub Time Machine.
I did not go to the theater and watch Hot Tub Time Machine, although it did come on TV fairly. I had a lot of friends who thought it was really fucking hilarious. And when I say it like that, because these people could not stop talking about how fucking funny it was.
And then sometimes that ruins the.
Yeah. And I watched it and I was like, I mean, it's good. It's funny. And that was it. Like, I wasn't that enthralled with it, but I liked it. And then now, like, it was funny because when we did the list and like that was on the list, I was like, you know what? I don't know if because I haven't watched it again since then. So I had a moment where I was like, was I not crazy about it because everybody else hyped it so much?
Yeah, that's happened a few times to me.
Yeah. And I was like, or is it just because I'm like, it's a good movie, but it's not great?
Yeah. So
I'm really excited to watch this again.
Yeah, because sometimes people can really, and then you're like, whoa, slow down there. It's not bad, but Jesus Christ. I just went on the trailer to the movie theater, and I'm a huge John Cusak fan.
Yes.
And this was really him going back in time to a time where he was huge. I mean, he's been huge for a long time, but the 1980s John Cusak.
Yeah.
And this is where he was going. So I do remember liking this movie. So let us watch the trailer here, and then we will make our prediction.
A typical road trip weekend consists of partying, hooking up, and going wild. But in 2010, 4 friends will discover a new level of awesome.
Go. All right. Look, what are we going to do? You guys are terrible at quarters. Let's break into a school or steal a cop car or something, huh? Do you have Ritalin? What?
Guys, come look at this. You don't think it's a little weird, a bunch of guys just piling up in a big bathtub together?
It's called male bonding, okay? Haven't you even seen Wild Hogs? Watch out, here I come.
What the hell happened last night?
Is there some kind of retro thing going on this weekend?
There's something going on in here. Dude is rocking a cassette player. Leg warmers. I'm sure there's a good explanation for all this. Jerry girl! Excuse me, miss. What color is Michael Jackson?
Black?
Winterfest 86. I don't understand how we back in time.
I'm so scared.
Must be some kind of hot tub time machine.
This March,
This is a very special model that you have here.
You know exactly what's going on here, don't you, old man?
Come on, it's the 80s. Let's do what we want. Free love.
Hey, let's get this party started.
Mom?
forget the present.
Why did I ever break up with him? What was I thinking?
Wow.
And now the universe is giving me another shot.
This is gonna be the best weekend like ever. I feel pregnant.
Change the future.
There's money to be made here, man.
We could invent iPods, Prius, Match.com, short ribs. We could combine Viagra with Twitter.
What?
Twitagra. Boom!
And kick some past.
You're breaking up with me? That's not how this happens. Do you know what happens to you? I mean, fat. I mean, like, fat.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Could I text you later?
Wait, what?
Are you online at all?
I have no idea what you're saying.
How do I get a hold of you?
Come find me.
That just sounds exhausting.
That does look good. I have not seen this movie in a long time, since probably at least 10, 12 years ago.
I probably saw it about a year after it came out, and then never again.
And then never again.
And then never again. And I remember liking it, but not loving it.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned that the majority of the jokes I would find funny were in that trailer.
In that trailer. Yeah. I think I'm going to like it. It looks funny. I love the cast.
I mean, good cast.
Yeah.
Great cast. So
yeah.
hopefully it's funny. Like all the way through funny and not just like the occasional, ha, that was good.
All right.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
All right. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Okay. So that was Hot Tub Time Machine. You have seen it. I have seen it. What are your initial thoughts about Hot Tub Time Machine?
There was a lot of time during this movie that I did not laugh. But there were quite a few spots where I did laugh. And God, there was a lot of like just really gross shit. Like not even like vulgar, like it just was straight up gross.
Talk about the William Zabka bathroom scene.
First of all, also the amount of puking, although the squirrel was a great touch.
That was.
The squirrel was amazing. I'll give them that. That was fantastic.
Where'd the squirrel go?
That was gross, but funny.
Yeah.
And then the squirrel pops back up and it's like a whole thing. And like the squirrel was great.
Sebastian Stan, I forgot, was in this as the dick.
I was like, look at little Sebastian Stan. He's only 15 years older now, but like for some reason I was like, he looks like he's 12 in this.
Charlie McDermott, who went on to be the older son in The Middle. He was the sidekick of the bad guy.
Yes.
Colette Wolfe, Lizzie Kaplan. Actually, all the female girls in this movie were hilarious. Lindsay Fonseca, she was friggin' Fonseca.
Yeah.
She was friggin' hilarious.
She was amazing. I love her. She's also part Portuguese. I actually enjoy her in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she was, oh God, Jenny. Jenny was fucking nuts. And I love that. Like,
Chevy
Jenny's just
Chase,
like,
Crispin Glover.
yeah.
This movie was packed. This also had a fucking fantastic soundtrack. This was it was great.
I will give you the soundtrack 100%.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love that all throughout.
Yeah. The jokes I can see being of acquired taste.
Yeah. You know, I liked the quieter, weird jokes.
Oh, there were
more
so
than the,
many.
like, there's so many like don't get me wrong, like there's stuff that I laughed at.
When they were like, white buffalo, white buffalo, white buffalo. And he's like, what the fuck does that mean? And they just keep saying white buffalo.
Just
He's
keep
like,
saying it, just
oh,
quieter.
thanks. That really helps.
They
That
just
really
keep
helped me
whispering,
out.
White buffalo. I was like, that's funny, super weird, but funny. And like there's the classic gross stuff that I laughed. The poopy car key, I laughed.
Yes.
Because only because of the delivery by Craig Robinson. 100%. The way that scene played out, I was like, this is perfect timing. That was beautiful. Gross. So gross. Because wow, did they whoever did like the special effects on that poop?
It looked like shit.
It really did. And that's a good thing in this particular instance. But I mean, like, I liked all the quiet, weird jokes where they were just kind of
the
bantering off of each other. You see, yeah, no. There's also
like, oh my God, good for you.
the bathtub sex scene
where he's crying.
That's
the actress who played her actually said that it was her idea. They weren't actually going to shoot her. They planned all the other nudity was planned. Hers was not going to be. And she actually requested it to show because she said she was trying to make it. This was one scene. She only got one scene in the entire movie. She wanted it to be memorable. And God bless her. It was memorable.
Well, no, okay, so it's just
humor of crying.
Sorry?
It added to the humor of him crying.
It was fucking hilarious. And if that was her idea, God bless her.
She's like, are you
really
crying?
like her?
Yeah, she was in
She was in Mad
Men. Was she in Mad Men?
She was in Mad Men, and she was born in Montreal, so she's Canadian. There were a lot of Canadian titties in this movie.
It was filmed in Canada, up in Canada.
Yeah, a lot of the women were actually Canadian actresses that I recognized. So I was like, hey, you're in this too? Oh, great. But no, it's her.
Jessica Perret.
Yeah, Jessica Perret.
Yankee Crystal Lowe.
Yeah, Crystal Lowe, also Canadian.
Kelly Stewart.
Julia Maxwell, who plays Lucy. I believe she's Canadian. She's definitely worked a lot in Vancouver. Yeah, we saw
actors working a lot.
We saw Crystal Lowe's breasts. I was like, you show your breasts a lot, but I appreciate you, my friend.
Yep. Yeah.
I appreciate her a lot. But anyways, yeah, it was the combination of like being in the tub, like titties bouncing, squeezing those two sponges.
Oh yeah.
Her looking so into it, him quietly
crying. And she's like,
are you crying? And he's like, no, it's the water. It's the bath water splashing up onto my face. And then you see the like reflection of him, the younger self of him, with just tears coming down his face. And he's like, Courtney. And she's like, Tara, Courtney, Tara. My name's Tara. Courtney. That my wife's name. You're what?
Yeah. Meanwhile, he looks like 18 years old.
I know. And he's like, my wife is 9. And she's like, what? That was a great scene. And honestly, that was one place where like nudity wasn't needed, but it definitely added to it.
All right. Let's go over this movie. If you are watching, please give us your info. Where are we? How did it go? There we go. Sorry. All right. 3 estranged middle-aged friends. Adam Yates, a workaholic who was dumped by his girlfriend. Great scene. Coming home. His wife or girlfriend left him. And she's being all nice. He's listening to the message. She's being all nice, saying, I took all the stuff with the yellow dots, making fun of some of the stuff he put the
red
dots on. And she's like, oh, by the way, you had the red dot on the TV, but I took that too. And some of the stuff that didn't have dots that were yours, I took them out to the back and burnt them.
Yeah.
So
found some stuff in the closet that didn't have any red dots, so I took it out, put it in a pile, and burned it. Thanks.
Nick Weber Agnew, that's funny too. A neglected husband who works a dead-end job, and Lou Dorshin, an alcoholic slacker, reconnected when Lou is hospitalized with carbon monoxide poisoning. Pulls into the garage, rocking out to, was it Poison?
I think so.
No, it was Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home.
Oh, okay.
Because he does did you stick around and watch the
yes, I did.
Music
yes,
video?
I did. Because the things they do to that poor man and his hair in this movie.
Oh, fuck. Although Lou denies that he attempted suicide, Adam and Nick attempt to cheer him up by arranging for him to join them and Adam's socially inept nephew Jacob at Kodiak Valley Ski Resort, where the three enjoyed themselves as youths. That whole thing where they're picking up, they do not get along.
The first
Lou and
few minutes of this movie really set up where everybody is.
Yes. Yeah.
You get a good, like, kind of, because I mean, Adam walks through his house and he just looks so like
defeated.
Yeah. He's tired. He's done. He's like, yeah, whatever.
It's like me every day.
Doesn't react to, like, he has like a moment of, oh shit, she took the TV, but doesn't react to, I burned your shit. He's like, whatever, it's fine.
Goes downstairs to get the
tube TV. And there is his nephew, who's now living in his basement, who's playing, it looks like a Sims game, and his Sim is in jail. And he's cool with it. He's like, I've got trial next week. I was like, what? Do something with your life. And he's like, I am. I did the crime. I'm going to do the time. And he's like, you're weird, but fine. And then you meet Nick. He's working at Sup Dog.
Yeah.
Apparently pet store grooming place.
I like the guy that came in. Again, there's another guy. And he's like, Sup Dog. And he's like, oh, clever.
Oh, that's clever. And then he's like, my dog's been doing that. It's looked really weird. And then he puts on a glove and he starts dating. And then he was like, hey, man, what do you do? And the look Robinson gives him while his hand is apparently in this dog's ass, I was like, fantastic. Because before he goes out front, his manager, who looks younger than him, says, remember, just like we talked about.
Yeah.
And it was like, another demoralizing moment. Like, there's just a lot of demoralizing moments where he's like, oh, I remember you were the lead singer in that band. And he's like,
what are you doing now?
Yeah, what are you doing now? And his hand's up a dog's butt.
Yeah.
And it's like beautiful moments of just, my life is pathetic. And then when we meet, what's his nuts? Lou. He's drinking and driving, actively drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Rams his car into the garage, closes the door, and just turns up the music and keeps singing while he's slowly killing himself.
Yeah.
And still drinking.
And
a
still
lot.
drinking. Great
But
song,
he's having
though.
a good time. He's having a great time.
And then they decide they're going to go. He pulls. They tell him that they're going to go to their old ski resort where they hang out. And then he's like, "No, we're going to go now." And he pulls that catheter.
Oh Jesus! Sprays the pee all over.
Pee all over everybody.
That was one of the because look, if you've ever been sprayed with pee, it is not a good time. I don't care who you are, especially if it's coming straight out of a catheter.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
It is not a good time.
No. Then he sees Jacob's coming with them, and he's all mad because they do not get along. That was funny too.
Honestly, yeah. When they see each other, it is actually pretty funny. Jacob just like puts the window up. He's like, "Yeah, we're done now." But I'm like, "You guys are getting into the back seat together."
Yeah. So when they arrive to the valley, Kodiak Valley, they find that the town is not what it used to be, with many of the stores boarded up and the hotel run down. Jesus fuck.
Windows are boarded up.
Like, cats everywhere.
Oh my god!
They're like, what's that fucking smell? And Buddy's like,
it's the cats.
Yeah. So they go up to their room. Then that's in the trailer is where they're playing quarters. And it's Lou who's trying to order a hooker. He's like, let's go break into a school. Let's steal a cop car. The Riddlin thing was funny.
Yeah.
He's like, don't fucking lie to me. All your kind has fucking Ritalin.
Then he's like, I'm on Ativan.
Yeah, I'm out. It's not the same.
And he's like, that's fine. And you're like, it doesn't do the same. Oh God.
So while drinking in their hotel room's hot tub, the four accidentally doused the console with an energy drink. So yes, they call down, and then all of a sudden, mysteriously, the hot tub is working and it's all cleaned up.
And it no longer has a dead rodent in it.
No dead rodent. And they start partying. And that was a great montage, very 80s montagey with the drink and all the extra people that show up. And
yes, which confused me because I was like,
where did they come from?
Reagan's face? That's a mask. Is there a bank robber in that hot tub with them? What the fuck? Who's that? What is that? Who's in the bear suit?
So this is when they wake up and he sees the squirrel, and Lou wakes up and sees the squirrel and pukes all over it.
Adam is enjoying this moment of nature. He's like, hey, little buddy. Hi. Lou looks over and he's like, oh, projectile vomit onto the, like pushing the squirrel off.
Yeah, didn't just puke on it. He blasts the squirrel off the screen.
Yeah.
And then he's like, where'd the squirrel go?
See, that was one of the gross ones that I was like, that's funny. That's funny. Apparently poop and vomit. Kind of into. Who knew?
Now they go skiing, and after many strange occurrences, they realize that they have actually accidentally traveled back to 1986. I like how they do it. They're going skiing. They're not really noticing everybody's so bright, so 80s. And then they have that big accident, and they're like, we should be seriously fucked up. But I feel fine.
Yeah.
And then they get down and they start seeing like the cassette player, the Jerry curls. I like, what color is Michael Jackson? She's like black and screams and runs.
Starts running away. But it starts on the mount, like on the mountain, where they start looking around and they're like, is there a retro day? Like, I don't understand what's happening. And then they check their cell phones, and I think it was Nick says, I don't have any bars. And then some guy walks by with the big block cell phone.
Guess where I'm calling you from?
Guess where I'm calling you from? The mountain on my phone. And they're like, what the fuck? And then they go
80s phones.
Yes. And then they go into like the ski shop, snack bar or whatever. And they start that guy's wearing a cassette player. And you get these. I was like, oh my God, Jerry Curl. They're going in and they start naming these things.
Safety dance music starts playing, and then you have those clips on the TV from Elf, Max Headroom, MTV, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I missed the 1980s. I was not that age in the 80s. I was just a little tiny kid, but it was still fun.
Well, I had a much older sister and brother, so I was still surrounded. Like this is before we knew George Michael was gay. Like I had a crush on him. Kind of wanted to marry him a little bit.
Might happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
No.
Me being 4 years old. What? Because I shared a room with my sister. So I had, and then we find out he's super gay. And I was like, I mean, it makes sense now. Once you have that piece of information, you're like, yeah, I get it. But before then, it was also the 80s. Eyeliner was a normal thing on a guy. Their hair was bigger and poofier than yours. Like it was perfectly normal for straight guys to look like that. So there were
when you saw the videos of Poison and they were all with the makeup and the glam, and the Motley Crue stuff.
Twisted
it was
Sister.
Yeah.
You're like, they had more glam than most women did in the 80s. I'm just saying. They permed their hairs. They did all the things. But
everyone was smoking. There were smoke machines. It's just out
smoking indoors. It was so jarring for me, especially with those little like aluminum ashtrays. And I was like, oh shit.
Better times.
Honestly, I do miss that. I do miss after a dinner, they bring out the coffee, you light up a cigarette.
I remember going to the mall, and my dad fucking hated it. And he's like, I'm going to be out in the hallway of the mall. And he'd go out there and sit down and smoke because they had the benches, and then they had on each side of the bench
an
ashtrays. And you just go out there and smoke and wait for my mom.
I did that in Europe in 2004.
Ooh.
Yes, 2004. We went to Portugal. I was getting super frustrated because we were in line at one of those superstores. And all I wanted to do was buy a shirt. It was like 15 euros. I was like, I just want to buy a shirt. My sister was in line ahead of me, but it was going so slowly. The North American in me came out and I was like, why is this taking so long? And then I look and the cashier was sitting on a chair. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind. So I handed the shirt to my sister with like 15 euros. And I was like, here, buy my shirt. And I walked out the store. And as soon as I took a step out of the store in the mall, there's an ashtray right there. I lit up. Oh God.
Yeah.
And I was like, shopping would be so much fun if I could just have a cigarette.
I remember my parents, I was really small, but I remember like going to the movie theaters and people were smoking.
Oh shit. That I don't remember.
Bars were gross.
Oh, bars were so gross.
I mean, I wasn't going to bars as a kid in the 80s, but restaurants. I remember I was pretty older when they'd finally, do you want smoking or non-smoking? There was no separate fucking room. It was
it was just
folks still traveled over towards you.
We just grouped the chairs together, the tables together in one area if you want to smoke, and then 5 feet away is the non-smoking area, and then eventually they put in smoking rooms. And like that separation, but that was much later. But it's funny because even as a smoker, I used to hate coming home from like bars and clubs.
Oh, you always stunk.
You smell like an ashtray. Yeah. All of you.
You didn't mind it while you were there, smoking a pack in like 3 hours.
I mean, you start drinking, you're dancing. It's you don't know what's happening. My friends used to make fun of me because I would always bring like 2 packs with me.
Yeah.
Because I would smoke a pack while I was there.
Yeah.
I was usually dancing though, and
putting one down, lighting the other one up, and then taking the last drag out of that one to continue.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But inevitably, by the end of the night, I was the only one who still had cigarettes.
Yeah, and
everybody
everyone
else was out. And I'm like, yeah, now you're glad I brought that second pack. Here you go. Here's a couple smokes to tide you over until you get to the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, my parents smoked in the car while me and my brother sat in the back, not even wearing seat belts. My brother climbing up in the back of that window area.
Yes. Honestly, I'm surprised we survived.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I am surprised so many of us from our generation are still alive today.
This is when Lou decides he has to go to the bathroom, and he's taking a piss, and you hear him turning and looking, and he's pissing all over the place, telling them to come and take a look. Adam, Lou, and Nick have also assumed their younger bodies. Yes, though Jacob's appearance is unchanged since he was not born yet, and he occasionally flickers in and out of reality.
I would just like to point out that the pee thing really got on my nerves.
Yeah, it's gross.
It was gross, but also it brings back the absolute trauma of every man I have ever known who can't find the fucking toilet.
Yeah.
It's right there and it's not teeny tiny. Why can't you just get it into the toilet bowl? Why?
Yeah. My wife said the same thing, and then she said, you should sit down and go and pee. And we laughed and we laughed and then we laughed, and then I went and pissed all over the floor. I was sitting down to go pee. I'm a man. I'm going to piss on the floor. Be a man. A cryptic repairman appears and warns them not to change anything as it might affect history.
Yes.
Yes, the butterfly effect. And then they go over the butterfly effect. They go over Back to the Future, and they go over Terminator to get all their knowledge of time travel.
And it's a great interaction.
It is.
I love it. It was very funny because they were like, oh yeah, like this, like that, just like that. I write Stargate fan fiction. I know what I'm doing.
To minimize the butterfly effect, the group plans to reenact their previous experience. Adam has to break up with his girlfriend, Jenny, and get stabbed in the eye with a fork. Lou must pick a fight and get beaten up by the ski patrol bully, Blaine. And Nick must have sex with a groupie and perform with his band at an open mic. They also have to find Adam's sister and Jacob's mother at the resort. This was great because no one wanted to relive this part. He didn't want to cheat on his wife, and they're like, no. She hasn't even been, like, you haven't even met her yet.
She's 9 years old. Yeah. You're not even married, right?
Lou didn't want to get his ass kicked again. And
understandable.
And Adam was like, he wanted to, and then like it's funny when they saw her and they're like, I don't remember looking that hot.
Yeah, she's so hot. It was like they were just like, no, and he's like, but do I have to break up with her? I don't want to
Yeah.
get stabbed in the eye.
White buffalo.
But it's so funny because when you see them, when you see him and when I was like, is that a plastic fork? She stabs him. It
Sticks in
plastic
blood
fork. I'm like,
everywhere.
how hard did she stab him?
That was a great scene. We'll get to it.
Good.
So the three find their task difficult. Lou gets punched by Blaine and loses his backpack. That was funny, and because Jacob is like, "That's it." He gets punched in the face once, and he's like, "No." I call him back over and challenge them to a fight at midnight with his friends and my friends. So he calls them over. He gets smacked around a bit more.
But he mentions, he's like, but my friends didn't show up.
Yeah.
So it was just 6 people beating on me.
Beating the shit out of me. But realize he must face him again later that night. So he reluctantly challenges him again. Adam becomes attracted to Jenny again and loses the will to break up with her, but is distracted when he meets a free-spirited music journalist, April, during a concert. Nick is concerned about cheating on his wife, even though he is yet to meet and marry her at this time. So Lou goes through with it. Nick goes through with it.
Yeah.
Adam doesn't, and they're all fucking pissed at them. Like they're like, I didn't want to get my ass kicked. I didn't want to cheat on my wife. All you had to do was break up with her.
He's like, but I didn't want to get stabbed. That was actually pretty fun. Like, and Lou reluctantly getting his ass kicked and reluctantly funny. Nick crying while having sex in a very large bathtub.
That was great.
So good. And then you see Adam and he's just like, but and his like, I don't want to, guys. Like, look, I mean, do we have to? I mean, what if this is meant to be? Like, what if I'm supposed to? And they're like, no, you have to break up with her.
And then so he decides not to, and they're like, fine, fuck it. If you're not gonna, then we're gonna change. They fucking just the butterfly effect. They just fucking find whatever butterfly they can fucking stomp the shit out of all of them. But Jenny turns the tables on Adam when she initiates their breakup, but he still gets stabbed in the eye with a fork as he tries to prevent it. That was a fucking funny scene.
That was amazing because she has this little note and she like puts it up to her lips and then she's like, here you go. And he's like, for me. And she's like, yeah.
This is total like almost high school.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, for sure. And then he reads the note and he's like, you're breaking up with me? And she's like, yeah. And then eventually she says the line like, it's not you, it's me. And he's like, I was going to break up with you. And this triggers her. And then she stabs him.
Well, she says, you're going to end up with, what's his name? And she's like,
oh, yeah,
I like him. And he's like, oh, yeah? Well, your first kid, you're going to get giant trucker hips and you're going to get fat. You're going to get real. And then she fucking loses
Watchers.
Yeah, addicted to Weight Watchers.
Stabs him. And she's like, I'm not going to get fat. And then like walks
Yeah,
out.
as he's lying on the ground, bleeding profusely, she's like, I'm not going to get fat, and storms out of there.
Like that was the greatest. Like she was just so happy and cheery during that breakup when she's handing like the entire conversation until he says you're going to get fat, and then all of a sudden, them's fighting words.
Yeah. Severely heartbroken, he wanders around the resort alone before encountering April. Actually, before that, Jacob runs into him writing breakup poetry. He's like, "Are you writing breakup poetry?" He's like, I can't help it. I'm hurting inside.
And then he reads out the poetry.
Yeah.
I was like, well, shit, that's not. I mean, it's bad, but it's like high school bad, not like professional bad.
Now, this says that encountering April, they break into a house and have sex. They didn't have sex.
No.
They were just about to kiss.
They were about to kiss. They were sitting on a counter, smoking cigars, eating food.
Yeah.
And drinking their booze, but not having sex.
Meanwhile, Nick, so him and Lou are talking, and they decide that they're talking about all the things they can make fucking money at. And then Lou is like, you got to get up there, perform, but don't leave me hanging at midnight. Yeah. And Nick gets up there and he does a more upbeat music during his performance. And then Jacob runs into the repairman and he tells Jacob a certain chemical is the key to the time travel. Jacob realizes it was the energy drink that they spilled on it.
Mm-hmm.
after the group prevents Lou. Okay, so after this, they because it's not in Wikipedia. Adam runs into Nick playing the song.
Yes.
And then everyone's cheering and dancing along.
It was a Black Eyed Peas song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody let's get it started in here.
Yeah. Get it started, I think.
Yeah. Jacob finds them, tells them that it's they need the Chernobyl energy drink, and they're like, "Where's Lou?" And they're like, "Fuck, we forgot again." They go to see it. His shoe is off, with blood on it, and then they're like, "He'll be where he was before, on top of the church," and there he is. That was funny when Jacob's like you got your ass. I don't even know how the fuck you get your shoe beaten off.
It was apparently you got your shoe beaten off you. I don't even know how that happens.
That's possible. After the group prevents Lou from falling off the rooftop, saved by, I can't remember Crispin Glover's name in this.
Wait for it. Phil.
Which he had a bunch of great scenes when he first takes them to that fucking room and just whips their shit off.
Yeah, because he only has one arm.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on this continuing running gag through the entire movie
of him trying to lose his arm.
When they go back in time, he has both his arms. So Lou is absolutely fascinated, and he's like, maybe we'll get to see him lose his arm. So there are a series of scenes where he could possibly, his arm gets stuck in the elevator.
Awesome. The fucking ice
when he's pulling him up, he's pulling when he's doing the ice sculpture with the chainsaw.
They're getting all excited, like, this is it. This is where he loses his arm.
Everybody else is freaking out.
Oh yeah,
Lou's like, this is
yeah,
this is it. And then it's not it. And
then he gets mad.
He gets so mad that he didn't lose his arm. And this keeps going over and over and over again until finally he loses his arm. And the joy on Lou's face when that happens.
He's so happy.
He is so happy. He's like, I got to see it. Yes. So thrilled. So thrilled. I just that is a great running gag through this entire movie. And I love it.
And I do like Crispin Glover. He's a weirdo.
Yes. So weird.
In real life. And he usually plays a weirdo, but he is great.
He is a great weirdo.
Yeah. Nick covers more upbeat music, yet Lou. Okay, so after the group prevents Lou from falling off the rooftop, they go to Blaine's cabin to search for the drink because now the ski patrol who stole the backpack finds the cell phone, finds the microphones, finds the Chernobyl.
Because when they steal the bag, one of the other, God, I think he's actually, is he played by William Zabka or Charlie McDermott? One of the other ski patrol walks into the room. And he's like, what are you doing? Are you watching Red Dawn again? And then there's a little TV and Wolverines. And he because Blaine is convinced because he's found the iPods, the phones, the headphones, whatever. He's like, they're spies. They're Russian spies and they're here to take over. And he's like, I think you've just watched Red Dawn too much. I don't think that's what. No, that's what they're doing, and we're patriots, and we're gonna say. It was this weird obsession with Red Dawn, and so good. And then his friend kind of looking at him out of fun, but then he gets whipped up into a frenzy, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go stop the spies." And you're just like, "Oh Lord."
Now let's go back a little bit before we continue and talk about William Zabka. This was great. Because Lou is like, I know how we're gonna. I remember this game. And then they start betting on it because they know everything. And and William Zabka's character is like, I want one more chance to win. And Lou is like, all right, if I win, I get a blowjob from your wife, and if you win, you get all my money. And Buddy's like, and you have to give your friend a blowjob. I like how Nick is like, I don't like you taking liberties with my dick. And that magical squirrel ends up on the field and fucks up the
prediction for the game.
Prediction.
Yeah.
And then they have to go to the bathroom and he has to give his friend a blowjob. When when Nick undoes his pants and Lou is like, oh, good for you. It's like Gary Coleman's forearm.
And then he's like, thank you. And then just before he goes in, before Lou goes in, he looks up at him and goes, "I love you, man." He's like, don't say that.
Just before it happens, don't say that.
Also, let's point out there was a gun involved, so it wasn't like
they
not
were
could
doing
just
this
take off.
voluntarily. Yeah,
yeah, which was a little weird because I was like,
that's the only way you could have made this gag work.
But even then, just a whole and I'm like, that feels very off-brand a little bit for this because this is not just like kind of wholesome. I'm like, this just took a little bit of a weird dark turn.
A little dark turn.
Also, that's super weird that you're so intent on watching a guy you just met give another guy a blowjob that you're going
to see if they think they do it.
Why are you so intent on watching this happen, sir?
But when Nick wakes up and Lou has all the white soap around him and Nick freaks out and Lou starts laughing.
Yeah, he's like, oh, is it still there? And he does that and he puts it in his mouth. And he
Nick
hasn't
is
clarified.
Screaming.
He has not.
No, he didn't clarify yet.
yet.
No.
So you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, do I still have some on my face?
Well, this is also a weird, because Lou has this weird thing, because in the beginning, there's the possible threesome with Zoe.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. and it's Lou and Jacob and Zoe. Zoe takes a phone call from Lou's naked. He's ready to go. He's like, yeah, threesome.
Very quickly.
Jacob's like, super weird. I'm not doing anything with you here. That's weird. And she undoes Jacob's pants, gets a phone call from her mom. She goes off to answer it and goes to talk to her mom, topless with panties on. Weird, but okay. I could not have a conversation with anybody while naked. Especially not my mom, but I mean, I'm a clothing person. So then Lou, after a little bit more back and forth, Lou reaches over.
Yeah, try to get them started.
He's like, I'll just, we'll just get to, and he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, what, guys, get it. I'm just trying to get it started. Like, guys do it all the time. And Jacob's like, no, they don't. And then he trips on his pants and he's like, I'm out of here.
Because Lou is like, every boy dreams of a threesome. And he's like, yeah, with two girls.
It was Jacob's indignation at that entire situation.
Yeah.
That made that funny. And then just the quiet, what guys get them started before, guys do this all the time. No, they don't.
And actually this was used because Lou was giving shit to Adam about trying to change the future by trying to stick with his girlfriend. And then Jacob was like, well, you tried to have a threesome with me with that girl. And then, so we had the threesome and the bathroom blowjob scene that were, I thought, very funny.
Don't get me wrong, kind of funny, but also super. I was like, this feels so.
I like how he's like, well, yeah, we talked it over, and actually, he's a really great guy. We have a lot in common. Yeah, because you're a psychopath.
Yeah, the bathroom scene, funny moments overall. I was just like, this feels odd. But don't get me wrong, the wiping it off and putting it, that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Craig Robinson's reaction to that.
Oh, it was awesome.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And I love you, man. Don't tell me that now. Don't say that here.
Yeah.
Lou seduced. Oh, and this is okay. So we were after the group prevents Lou from falling off the rooftop. They go to Blaine's cabin to search for the Chernobyl. This is where Lou seduces Kelly, Jacob's mom. And this was funny too, because they bust into the room and they're doing it doggy style, and Jacob's watching the guy he hates bang his mom. So when he stops banging her because Jacob's trying to attack him, he disappears, and Lou puts it together that it's Terminator. He had to come back in time and bang Jacob's mom for Jacob to be born.
So he's like, okay, let's get back to it.
They start doing it, and Jacob reappears. Oh,
the dialogue from Lou during that.
Oh, and Adam has to, and they're outside the door. He's like, I'm banging Adam's sister. Adam's just defeated.
Get you pregnant. It's so. I was like, oh. Adam's just standing there, and he's like, yeah, that's, yep, just so resigned. And he's like, okay, great, it's done now, let's go.
They realize Okay, yeah, Lou and he suddenly vanishes. They realize that Lou is Jacob's father as he reappears after Lou and Kelly finish conceiving him. Lou leaves Kelly to find Blaine, who he finally beats, and the four retrieve the energy drink and return to the hot tub where they create the vortex. I do like the part where he gets his ass whooped.
Yes.
And Adam's giving him that pep talk, and it's kind of not really a pep talk. And Lou is like, this isn't helping. Because he's calling him, yeah, you're a loser. Yeah, you have never accomplished anything in your life. And Lou is like,
you're the violator. You could do it's like a whole thing. And then he finally gets up and he jumps over a chair and he goes to take a swing, and like Blaine kind of leads to the side a little bit, not even a lot.
Not even a lot.
And he like completely misses both guys standing right next to each other because they think the energy drink is a bomb. It's a Russian bomb.
And they're Russians.
Apparently. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But then after he gets his kind of punched a little bit, he has a whole nother like moment where he's like, fuck this, and he like just tackles him, takes him down. Nick grabs the energy drink,
starts speaking nonsense Russian.
Okay, but yeah, das vidanya. But Lou, I like how they held to this. Lou is not a fighter.
Yeah,
because his form is so shit. I was like, dude, just stop pretending you're punching and just open your hands, because you're essentially just slapping.
Yeah, you're pretty much slapping.
It's a slap fight, fists. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. That's okay. But I was like, oh my god, he's like just soft armed.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't make him become like the hero where he punches. No, he made him.
Still had no. He was just hitting a lot and sitting on Blaine, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they kept to
they really held to it, where like he did not become a fighter overnight.
No, they were committed to keep him the same.
Yep. God bless.
So the four retrieve the energy and return to the hot tub where they create a vortex. And I will say this, it was fun watching Chevy Chase popping up from time to time. I know from what I've heard, Chevy Chase is a dick.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
But his movies are fantastic. And he is a very funny man. And he was good in this as well. Jacob and Nick enter the hot tub first, but Lou decides to stay in 1986, admitting to Adam that his carbon monoxide poisoning was indeed a suicide attempt. This was a pretty good scene where I would have stayed too. Knowing everything that I know. I would have done exactly what he did when they get back. Yeah, I would have done the exact same shit. Knowing the future, he intends to make investments to become rich and have a closer relationship with Jacob. Adam wants to stay too, but Lou throws him into the vortex at the last moment. Back in the present day, Adam, Nick, and Jacob find that Lou has changed history by creating the immensely successful company Lugal.
Yes.
Oh, God. Which affords him a luxurious life with Kelly. Adam discovers that he is happily married to April, while Nick is a successful music producer married to a loving and supportive wife. Oh, can we go back a bit where Nick is drunk and calls his 9-year-old wife? I know you were licking his balls. I know you're eating out his booty. And then it pans to this 9-year-old girl holding the fucking phone, like just.
She's so like, what?
Stunned. The father is listening. He's like, who the fuck is this? This is none of your business,
Jeff. How'd you know my name? And they crash into the bathroom where he's having the whole phone call.
Trying to get the phone.
I'm talking to my wife. She's 9.
And this is where he has a loving and supportive wife, because he comes in and says, I know you're cheating on me, but I love you. And she goes, I never cheated on you. I remember I told you I had that weird phone call from when I was 9 years old.
Remember that traumatic phone call when I was 9?
They reunite at Lou's mansion with their family, satisfied with their new lives. And then what does he say? He enjoys investing in everybody, really misses music. And they're like, when the band, he misses being in the band. They're like, when we're in a band. The movie ends with him being the lead singer of Motley Lou.
Correct.
And it's the whole video. And they actually done it almost Forrest Gump style, where it looked pretty close to being realistic. And that is our movie. All right. So what's your score for Hot Tub Time Machine?
Okay. I would give this rental with a discount. Here's why. this is probably a 1, maybe 2 time view for me. I might watch it again in a year or 2. If someone else wants to watch it, I probably won't initiate it. There were some very like loud laughs, big laughs for me. Not enough for me to love this movie. It did have its moments, the quiet, weird jokes, the running gags of like Phil, when does Phil lose his arm? You know, the Craig Robinson fucking kills it in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like this is a study in incredible like comedy timing. So fucking good. It's just I found between my laughs, there was a lot of time where I wasn't laughing. And that I had a problem with. I'm like, keep the energy up through it all. I don't have to be like laughing out loud through the entire movie, but I should have a small smile on my face through it. But I found there were a lot of parts where I'm just like, this is fine. I'm waiting for the next joke. And that's why I say rent at a discount, because the jokes that do hit well. Like there are some really great comedy moments. Would I spend $4.99 renting this? No. 99 cents? Fuck yeah. $1.99. Sure. $4.99, I'm like, that's a little too much. But yeah, the jokes are good. I just wish they kept that energy up through the entire movie. There were too many pauses. There were too many kind of blank spots for humor. It was okay. It was good. What are your thoughts?
My score.
Yeah, you love
I
it.
say buy it. From 2000 2010, what would we call that? The decade, 2010s, the 10s,
the 2010s,
2010s, is arguably one of the funniest decades for movies. They have not made movies like this since. The second most funniest, I would argue, is the 80s. And this movie blended them together perfectly. No, I had a smile on my face the whole time. I did like the humor. The cast was amazing. The fact that they committed to the Crispin Glover's character with the arm, they committed to Lou being an idiot. He didn't grow.
No,
like, even when he stayed, he used advantage to like he destroyed everyone else's to gain wealth. So he didn't grow at all. Yeah, and the characters were committed. I love John Cusak. This is just a fun movie from start to finish, from that 80s music with all the pictures of the hot tub to the Motley Crue music video at the end. No, this was a buy for me. I love this movie. It was, don't get me wrong, it's gross. It's really gross.
No, and I mean, some people
there's
love
boobies, lots of boobies.
A lot of boobies.
And it really, and it made sense because it's an 80s. They go back to the 80s. So yeah. No, it was good. I really did enjoy it. I'm going to watch the unrated. I don't know when, but I'd see how different it is.
I'm curious about the sequel.
Have you seen the sequel?
I haven't seen the sequel.
It's okay. They go to the future, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. No John Cusak, but it is with, what's his name? I didn't like it as much, but it had its moments. I felt about number 2 how you felt about this one. Some funny parts. It was okay. Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. One-time watch at least.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not mad at this movie. Just not crazy about it either.
Yeah.
Like it was all right.
Oh, I can definitely see it not being everyone's cup of tea.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You have to be very immature to want to buy it. It is
very vulgar. It is very gross.
It's awesome.
Like there's a lot in here where you're just like, oh god.
Puking.
Like, if you have a sensitive stomach, don't watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to
even the arm getting ripped off was very well done. Like it looked like it got ripped off. There was blood everywhere.
Yeah, and it was like kind of shredded.
Even when he got stabbed with the fork in the eye.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood.
There was a lot of blood. Yeah, no.
I was a little concerned. I was like, it looks like your eyeball got stabbed. That's very close to the eye. But yeah, no, it was all right.
All right, so we have a rent it with a discount and a buy. You can guess who is who. All right, anything you want to add about Hot Tub Time Machine?
No, not really.
So thank you for joining us to go over Hot Tub Time Machine from 2010. And until the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking.